Looks like we're live. Hello and welcome. Anyone tuning in, this is Plutonian Shards, Touch the Void, session 4 of 4, our grand finale. I am Alexi. I am GMing our session this evening. You can follow all of my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games. And this game, Plutonian Shards, is a in development Cloven Pine Games production. The session you're watching is facilitated through the Gauntlet gaming community. Check out the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com or on Twitter at GauntletRPG if you want to learn about the cool games the Gauntlet publishes or the wonderful games we play through the Gauntlet calendar. Those are the places to go. Like I said, the game is Plutonian Shards, a game of scoundrels in spaceships, one of whom happens to be the last hope of the solar system. It is a game inspired by media like Firefly, like The Mandalorian. We're mixing in all sorts of sci-fi swashbuckling here. And here in our finale, we're picking up with our characters in the midst of infiltrating a space gala. So that is exciting. But before we get to the action, let us learn a little about our cast of players. If you would introduce yourself with your name, your pronouns if you wish, online handle if you so desire. Oh yes, I am Alexi, he, him, as I said earlier, Cloven Pine Games. Jim, tell us a little about yourself.
Hey, yeah, I am Jim Crocker. I run and play a whole lot of games on the Gauntlet and in other places as well, but I mean, that's most applicable to what we're doing here. If you recognize me from outside this broadcast, it's probably because you bought a game from me at some point, because I am a retailer of independent tabletop hobby role-playing games, work with my friends at Indie Press Revolution at conventions all up and down the East Coast, Northeast, Midwest, Gen Con Origins, the PAXs, all of that kind of stuff. Things have been a little slow over the last couple of years for obvious reasons, but I did get to do a couple of 3 shows this year. That was a lot of fun. Alexi and I have played together a bunch on the Gauntlet. I've been to his house and stuff like that. So a great pleasure to be playing in this game. I played a bunch with Brandon and Brian as well. And so we've been having a lot of fun with this game. If you're interested in mostly what I talk about on social media is all the games that I played. I have a little newsletter where I talk about that, and basically all of my tweets and Facebook posts are, hey, here's what I just played and here's what I thought about it. So you can find me on the Twitter at Jim Likes Games, just like it sounds. And I'm on Facebook as Jim Likes Games, Crocker, C-R-O-C-K-E-R. And if that's where to look for me if you want to find out what I'm working on. So looking forward to this evening.
Fantastic. And Jim, thank you for the shout out to Plutonian Shards in the latest issue of your Just Played Substack. Next up, Brian, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Brian, he, him. I've been playing on the Gauntlet for, I think, just over 3 years now. And I've only run a few one-shots of Scum and Villainy, but that I think indicates that this kind of sci-fi is kind of my favorite setting, my favorite type of game. So
we're squarely in that hive of Scum and Villainy genre. Absolutely. Great to be playing with you, Brian. Brandon, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm Brandon, he, him. I've been playing on the Gauntlet for almost 2 years now, and will be GMing my first game in January. And I love science fiction, especially when you get a chance to ask existential questions, as we've had the opportunity here.
Yes, yes, your character has been absolutely asking those questions. I'm excited to get to the characters in a moment. We have one more player who hopefully will be able to join in. We're waiting to see if she can join and be in this session, and we'll roll forward either way. But next up is our characters. If you don't mind, just remind us about your character's deal and a little about where we saw them last, what they were up to. Jim, we'll jump on back over to you. So tell us, if you would, about your Fallen.
Yeah, my Fallen is Kadence Kula. She is a member of the Armageddonist Order. They are kind of quasi-mystics who were the first to study the void in any kind of serious way, and after mastering some of its secrets, came to the conclusion that it was too dangerous to be studied, and then dedicated themselves to trying to suppress knowledge of the void and keep it from falling into the wrong hands. And that did not go so well, because anytime you try and keep power from people that want it, that usually that usually goes badly. So she was, I think she is kind of walking around, presumed dead. The order was thought to be mostly wiped out, but she was found by the Pinion Wisp in like a kind of like a trance state, and they revived her, and she's kind of been with the crew since then. She is not big on galas, on the society parties, that sort of thing. She's pretty stoic, pretty pretty severe, ascetic. So when we crashed the gala, she posed as a bodyguard. So she is dressed in kind of sort of black, royal bodyguard, kind of like stand back out of the way and just make sure people are okay. But when we got here, she keyed on to a couple of cultists who were after, who are there just to make mischief. I think we're not quite sure whether they're after the princess that we are there with, or whether they were after the jewel or what. But I think they're probably after the jewel. But she managed to distract them. But when we left, just as she was kind of gonna step in and help out her friends, she heard a voice in her head from someone who she presumed was probably dead. That I guess we don't know much about, but maybe we'll find out through flashbacks and meeting them what's going on with it. But it sounds like there's someone who is familiar with the powers of the void and may have been a member of the order themselves as well. So looking forward to figuring out what's going on with that.
Yeah. Somebody speaking, with like an edge of malice to Kadence, and the one other
like you do, yeah.
The one other thing Kadence had done was, accidentally bump into scientist Zenobia Foster and spill wine all over her white dress that looks slightly lab coaty, even though it's technically formal wear, right?
How clumsy of me!
How clumsy of you! Yeah. To run some interference, since you saw Dr. Foster headed towards her creation, one of our other PCs. But we'll get to that character in a moment. Next up is Brian, your character. Will you tell us about your neophyte?
Yeah, I'm playing Hoyt Harbeck. He's a young man looking for adventure. Background is what we've described as an interplanetary truck stop. Just kind of middle of nowhere, very boring, and he jumped at a chance to get out of there. And yeah, with a lot of enthusiasm and a little luck, he's managing to keep up with this crew of kind of extraordinary characters. And he's a decent chef and medic.
That's right.
And he's currently has never looked better.
He cleans up pretty well, actually.
But he's pretty miserable at this event because it's full of things that are extremely interesting that he's forced to pretend to be uninterested and bored by.
Yeah, he's got to have that jaded persona
he's
to pass
trying
as an aristocrat.
To pass as an aristocrat, which he doesn't know how to do at all. So he mostly has to stay silent, which is very painful for him because he really would love to just talk to and interrogate everyone here because they're all just, incredibly interesting. And yeah, instead he just has to turn his nose up and kind of, ignore all these fascinating openings that have been presented. Yeah, so he's pretty miserable.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, you appeared on the arm of our captain, Eris Dranomir, prodigal daughter of the very wealthy, very influential Dranomir, terraforming family, right? For the family behind a big terraforming corporation. And so, yeah, you are the talk of the gala, but you have to play it cool.
And he's pretty up till now. He was just following the captain because she is one of these fancy people who knows how to behave here. So he was pretty much taking his cue from her.
But she has left him, right? Like she's working the prince. She's working Gary and Aster, who's got the Star of Elysium jewel, which you've been hired to retrieve, and so she has stolen off to a balcony with the target, and now you are bereft of your guide, Hoyt. So we will see what trouble finds you in a minute. Last but not least, Brandon, will you tell us about your prototype character?
Yes, my prototype is RS2, better known as Rose, who is a miracle of engineering, a synthetic human being created in the Dranomir Corporation's Void Space Laboratory as an experimental subject to test the effects of prolonged exposure to void space on a biological nervous system, something that no normal person could hope to withstand for very long. She was initially content with her role, but made a sudden decision to escape when Eris Dranomir found her and asked her whether she would not want to see the world. She's not 100% sure why she made the decision at the time, but subsequently, when she came in contact with an artifact, it became clear to her that she was destined to save the solar system from some catastrophe. In fact, that she's its last hope. And that in some way her consciousness was sent back in order to affect a different future than the one that would otherwise take place. She doesn't know how she's going to do this. And her initial attempt to communicate this to others was catastrophically unlikely sounding in the flush of her realization, her not having figured out how it would be acceptable to communicate such an extraordinary thing.
So you're hoping for another chance to reveal that you're the last hope of the solar system.
She has senses, because of her void exposure, she has senses that go beyond the ordinary, even given her, synthetic nature. And here at the gala, determining that it wasn't likely that she could hide her nature anyway, she chose to accentuate it. And essentially go as Eris Dranomir's servant, captive, stolen object. Hard to say. And legally, she is still
arm
property.
candy.
Yes,
you've used makeup to kind of draw attention to the metallic markings on your face.
Yes, and she was contentedly looking out for Eris and kind of scanning the crowd for possibilities when an unanticipated and potentially catastrophic event took place, which is that she recognized Dr. Zenobia Foster, the head of the Dranomir Void Space Laboratory, and in fact, her creator.
And it seems like she recognized you too.
There's no way that she could not have recognized Rose. Yeah. And notwithstanding Cadence's well-intentioned attempt to dissuade the doctor from interacting with her creation, Rose has decided that there's no avoiding it.
Interesting. Well, I might pick right up with that, and we'll hopefully bring Danielle and Eris back in at some point. But for the moment, let's say Eris has grabbed Garyon, right? Drawn him off to a balcony, off of the main kind of gala space. So she is working on claiming that prize.
They're having a tete-a-tete over there.
Yeah, exactly. Rose, you see Cadence, running interference, right? Like she bumps into the doctor, spills wine all over her. Then like Cadence kind of like has like a strange, like momentary, moment of stillness or something, right? Like, and we, the audience, know she's hearing this voice in her head, right? The doctor, stumbles back, kind of, brushes ineffectually at the wine, and then just snaps at someone passing by. I need your jacket. And a man in military jacket kind of like instinctively obeys, right? Hands over his dress uniform jacket. She like pulls it on, covering up the stain, and then like steels herself to continue stalking towards you. Someone clears their throat next to you, Rose. A tall gentleman, also in a military uniform. This one fancier and more old-fashioned somehow. He says, "A beautiful specimen like you shouldn't be left as scenery when there's dancing to be done. Would you do me the honor?" He offers his hand.
You're very kind, sir. But I would be failing in my social obligations not to acknowledge my superior. And I give a nod towards Zenobia. Perhaps afterwards.
He kind of, cocks an eyebrow, but says, "Please."
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
He says, "My name is Marcato. Put me on your dance card, if you would."
Should I have the opportunity to dance, rest assured, you will be the first that I will ask. And I thank you for your great good manners.
So you are turning down the potential lifeline of being whisked off onto the dance floor. Am I following that correctly?
I'm turning it down. Rose has decided that fate is you sometimes have to meet fate head on.
Yeah. All right. So doctor's headed towards you. Are you approaching her or waiting for her to reach you? What's the picture here?
I'm going to meet her halfway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't wish her to believe that I am trying to avoid her at all.
All right. She approaches. She's, narrowing her eyes, taking in, her laboratory subject now, dressed to the nines, right? In your very fancy ball gown.
Dr. Foster, what an unexpected circumstance.
RS2, you're very dolled up, but completely recognizable. What are you doing here?
I am here with my friend, Eris Stranham here.
Thief and saboteur.
Perhaps. And it's true that were it not for her, I would still be in the laboratory.
Fulfilling.
But it
your
is
purpose.
also true that I chose to leave. I know you do not believe that I can choose. But there are non-deterministic elements of my construction, as I'm sure you would be the first to understand.
Of course, you can choose RS2, but there are still right and wrong choices. And you chose poorly in leaving behind the life you were built for. To do what? To gallivant around the solar system?
It is I could not have answered that question at the time that I left. I knew only that I ought to do it. It must have been, it was a decision made on some sublogical level, I suppose.
And
I understand the reason better now.
And what is that?
I am trying to decide whether you would believe me if I told you.
Try me.
Very well. The void connected me with events in a certain period into the future, where a cataclysm had overtaken the solar system. One whose nature I don't really understand yet. And I saw the lines of probability extending out away from this catastrophe. And I saw them converging on me.
Are you revealing that you are the last hope of the solar system?
Yep.
Well, there's a move for that.
So I understand.
So it's a roll plus strange to see how it goes when you reveal to someone you are the last hope of the solar system. And do you have we have the dice roller here?
Yes.
Should I share that link again? I'll do it just in case. So anyone who needs it can get over to our dice roller. Yeah, so 2d6 plus your strength. Ooh, what is that? What does that come to total?
That's a 6.
So
Apparently
unless
I
someone
desire-
wants,
Yes.
yeah. So someone could assist you with edge if they find a way to do that. We'll see. On a miss, what it says is they react with disbelief, horror, or anger. So there is that. Is anyone stepping in here, or are we willing to see this miss result play out?
I would. I'm trying to picture what that would be.
You encountered the artifact.
It's true.
Yeah.
Hoyt and Rose were the two
you
that
may
were
well
there.
have you may well have
I'm the
gotten
one who saw the
flash.
face. That the
Yes.
faces matched.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we didn't see Hoyt like edging over to like, eavesdrop on this conversation, but
Yes.
yeah.
Before Hoyt says anything, Rose's eyes flick downwards in,
So there's
in frustration.
There's at least a moment where she feels like this has gone as poorly as possible once again.
Notwithstanding, she had thought about this and considered how to say it. It just didn't come out right again. Or maybe it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. All right.
It's just not to be believed.
But Hoyt, it looks like you are spending an edge to assist here.
Yes. Yeah, I think he just steps up and it's like I can't say I really understand it, but I was there when Rose was shown this. There was an artifact buried in rock in the middle of an asteroid?
Yeah.
That had her face. That I mean, it couldn't have just been there, buried under rock for who knows how long. Just what? It's a practical joke. This is something much more than that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we see, like Dr. Foster, she's chilly, right? Like as in a permanent fashion, but we see this, series of emotions flicker across her face, from total disbelief to kind of, questioning to, like some sort of epiphany, right? As she says, but then but if the time stream, that's what happened with RS1. I dispatched her to investigate confluences of future and present and past, and you appeared. You will be my greatest creation, and I plucked you from my future self, and that all fits together now. RS1 brought you to me because together we can avert this calamity. And like she smiles, a genuine, if unpracticed smile. And Rose, she believes you.
You created me for this. You created this one for this purpose.
She says, well, I will create you for this purpose. It's complicated, but you're here now in the present. RS1 sacrifice was not in vain, and there is hope for us yet. So we push this up to the 7 to 9 result of Last Hope of the Solar System, right? Which is they believe you and react in awe, admiration, and respect, but also rumors of who and where you are spread at light speed. So we'll probably leave that there for a moment. I mean, we'll just like have the camera pull back and like we hear just hard to pin down whispers spreading across the whole dance floor, right? Like this has not been a completely subtle conversation. It's you in your ostentatious red dress and the doctor wearing the jacket she commandeered from Ulysses Middleton. Yes, that was him who lost his jacket. Having this conversation. So we're going to say rumors are spreading about that. Meanwhile, Danielle, welcome. Good to have you.
I'm so sorry. I've been helping my grandma all day, and then my brother and his family did a video call, and my mind just. So
No
thank
worries.
you
No
for
worries.
your
Good-
guys' patience. It
Good
sounds
to
like
have you.
so many exciting things have happened. I'm truly excited to. I'm so happy that I got to hear a little bit of Rose's revelations going well. Yes, where I believe in the middle of trying to lure someone to a balcony to
Yeah.
relieve him of something that we wanted.
That's about right. And so we've kind of established that you have indeed pulled him off to the balcony. And so we'll pick up with you and Prince Garyon there. Just real quick, if you would, tell us about your character, Danielle. Remind us
Yes.
who Eris Dranomir is.
Eris Dranomir is the prodigal daughter of the Dranomir Terraforming Company family, who, in their quest to be, is top 5, not quite top 4 tetrarchy like others, but always looking to bump up to that. She was disillusioned by the company's kind of practices and ran when she decided to run away and ran across Rose in an experimental lab and offered to have her come with her and join her in this fleeing and going to explore the void and this wide world out here. And through this has managed to come back around with this lovely crew of characters, come back around and make a confident debut back into society world that she was sure she'd left behind. And running into all of these really interesting, powerful people that we are trying to make a name for ourselves with, I think. So Eris is trying to make her own name separate from her family's, and also just kind of distance herself from things that are going on. So that is where she is at right now.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and when we left Eris, you had charmed and beguiled Garyon Aster, who is the son of one of the tetrarchs. He's a pampered young man, and he's wearing the Star of Elysium, this fabulous jewel, as a ring, which the Pirate Queen has hired you to reclaim for her. So, yeah. So I think if you don't mind, we cut to this balcony, right? Off of the glittering venue of the Orpheus Gala. The balcony looks out over a frosty but manicured landscape, right? Like I'm picturing, topiary of celestial bodies and animals, some of which have void mutations, right? Like, so it's there's something kind of clearly unearthly about it, but it has been sculpted to portray the impeccable taste of those who frequent this venue. So you've got that view from the balcony, right? The glittering stars, the frosty topiary trees, and there's Garyon, elegantly dressed, gesturing with the hand that the Star of Elysium is glinting and glittering from, as he's asking to hear more about this this life outside the gilded cage of privilege that they've started to weave for him. Eris, what do you do?
Okay, I think that I can I actually take this moment as I'm looking over the balcony and probably nodding at Garyon. Could I scan my surroundings?
You totally can. Not a bad idea at all. Make a roll plus savvy as you take in the world here. I mean, tell me one more thing about how you're approaching scanning your surroundings here.
I think that and now is this his house as well, or is he throwing the gala, or is he just also attending?
My instinct is no. My instinct is that this is like a standing event that all the big families are at, and the venue is not anybody's home territory, but this garden preserve, this place that is set aside for its views, and then the rich people all congregate here for their event. Does that sound workable?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think that I'm just verifying this is plus one. I think that as she's scanning, she's looking to see evidence of things that people do when they want to kind of rich drunk people proof the area, like either keeping valuable things hidden, or like things where things have been subtly roped off or changed as well.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
like where are the edges of the fantasy that's been created?
Oh, that's amazing. I love that as a
Yes.
angle for scanning your surroundings. Go ahead and make a roll plus savvy for me.
Hey, that's a 10. Yes.
Ooh, you get 2 questions from the scan your surroundings list, and you can get advantage for acting on those answers.
Okay. I think I want to know, where's my biggest opportunity with Garyon here? Is it to like deceive him? Is it to personally ingratiate myself? Is it to dangle something outside of his reach? Does he seem weak or strong? Like, what I want to know. That might be, what that might be better asked is, what here could I use to make him give me this? But I'm more curious as to like, all I care is that I want to get this at some point. Whether he comes with it or not, I don't care. Maybe he comes with us, Then where's the greatest danger?
Okay, important questions. Biggest opportunity and greatest danger. You've been sizing Garyon up, getting the measure of him. He is not a complicated person, it turns out. He wishes he were a complicated person, but he is a poor little rich boy, right? Who has never done anything half as like genuinely rebellious as you, right? The ways he indulges himself never actually inconveniences his family, so he's like fully ensconced in this power structure, and feels some insecurity about that, because he would like to be a like dashing and heroic figure in some way, but he's just this pretty boy in a constellation of pretty people, expected to advance the family interests. Biggest opportunity is to play on the image he wants to turn into, right? Like the type of person he wishes he could be.
Okay, I got it.
Yes, and the greatest danger, right? Your other question. A good question.
Is there something around is it him, or maybe there's like someone will overhear us, or is there something in the garden, or
he is not an obvious danger to you. I think you pick up though that there are figures moving furtively through the topiary, and maybe there's even there's some like moment where you spot an insignia, right? And these are clearly more Starbreaker cultists who, you were warned, also had an interest in claiming the star for themselves. So the hapless ones that Kadence trapped in a never-ending Xenoic paradox are not the only Starbreakers around. There are reinforcements. Hard to make out how many, but a number of them moving through the shadows on the grounds of this this grand gala setting.
Okay.
Garen hasn't noticed any of them.
Okay. I think Eris she smoothly walks over to him and she kind of smiles and she's like, a lot of this really reminds me of, being at home, but I mean, I don't have to tell you, if I was, you said you wanted to know more, right? And,
He plays that insouciance. He's like, oh, well, yes, indeed. Please tell me more.
And she kind of leans in conspiratorially and she was like, if I was like any of the people who hang around my family, at this point I would pull out some kind of product and I would let you know what diet I've been on or which mantra I've been reciting every morning. But you want to know the actual secret to getting out of this place, or what separates us from the Hollow Novel heroes? And she kind of like just taps with one finger on the gem. She's like, it's actually sacrifice. You actually have to give something up. And isn't that is much more rare than anything you could buy, really?
Ah, beautiful. I think turn on the charm.
Yeah.
He's susceptible. You have advantage from leading into the answer. So that's plus warm, and roll 3 dice and take the best 2 to see if this this sways him.
Oof. Okay, so that's an 8 plus a 2. So that's a 10?
Sounds like a 10 to me.
Oh, that advantage was clutch.
Yeah, you got 2 warm, and you're not chilly, so that's nice. 10 plus. Yeah, he takes in what you're saying. He nods slowly. He swallows. Looks down at the ring that you've tapped, right? Incepting this idea. He's like, sacrifice. Yes. I can sacrifice. I can. It's not even hard. Look, pulls off the ring and like winds up to throw it over the balcony. But you have a second to react before he does that.
Yeah. I'm just like, whoa. I accept it. I'm like, not mindlessly. It needs to be with purpose. It needs to be symbolic. I had to take the Pinion Wisp, and I also had to take something. I took someone with me of great importance, and it sets you out on a new path in a way. So it needs to be something valuable and something kind of symbolic. And, if you entrust it to someone special, that could really give you some metaphorical juice in the tank on your new journey.
Yes, right, of course. Oh, how I was so blind. He drops to one knee and holds the ring out to you.
It's like, I think Eris just kind of Eris smiles and is just like, I can't even with this guy. And she's like, darling, you're so precious. You're gonna do this so well. I was thinking more along the lines, rings really aren't my thing per se. I really only ever wear necklaces, to be honest. And she's going to like put a hand kind of like on his shoulder and trail like her finger on the chain around his neck.
Did I describe? Where did I thought I described the star as the ring? Did I? Did
Oh,
I
was it
describe
the
it as a
ring?
necklace?
I thought he
It
was.
is a ring.
I thought it was a necklace. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wait. Does he actually? Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot.
If it's, can we? Yeah.
Offering
If
to
it's,
put the star on your finger, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, but
which is the objective of the mission. So
yes.
so
Yeah. No, I was
yeah.
just
Good to clarify. Which jewel are we trying to get? But it's
exactly.
the one he is holding out to you.
He is offering. Okay.
What do you do?
Okay. I don't think this is the first proposal like she's been offered, but honestly, it's probably like kind of the sweetest because it comes it comes from the most genuine place
Uh-huh.
that she's ever been proposed to, even if it's completely misguided. So she kind of smiles and is like, how gallant of you. And she's like, well, it would be remiss of me, it would be remiss of me to reject, but can a lady have a few days to think about it? I'll return this if I have to change my mind. I'm just getting such a taste of freedom in the stars, but
He nods eagerly, and I just want to clarify that by the terms you have said here, he will consider the two of you engaged if you do not return this jewel to him.
Wait, I thought, oh my gosh, I thought I
Just-
set it up that I was like,
right, you said you'll return it if you change your or if you yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
But
did.
you've got the jewel, right? Like he hands it over.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you know what? I did do that. I did this to myself, but you know what? It's a
I bet
great,
your parents will be proud. It's a great match.
oh my goodness. Yeah, I have a fiance. I could talk into leaping into the frozen wasteland if I wanted to. It's a great match.
It's always a possibility.
Um,
Let's perhaps take our first break and be back at 1:15, and then we'll definitely go to Kadence when we return. Sound good? All right. Be back then.
I gotta love role playing because it makes you actually have to think of the things like, quick, how would you respond to a proposal now? And you're like, ha! How would you? Better yet, not even as yourself, as a very polished, accomplished.
You're all in your fancy gala clothes. You're out on the balcony overlooking the beautiful view.
So romantic.
I feel like Garion is just feeling the moment, you know?
You know, he seems like a sweet boy despite everything. Despite his everything.
Yeah.
But because Eris would be able to find a way to then be like, that's so sweet of you. I actually am giving the rules here. Instead of like, oh no, wait, you asked me a question? Let me be very nice about this. Let me be very polite.
You know, I think you've got the jewel. You know, he thinks you're giving consideration to his proposal. He's going to be on his best behavior while you're doing that, presumably.
You know, what is being a space scoundrel if you're not fleeing a random accidental fiance at every honestly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let me touch base about advances real quick, because as a crew, you guys unlocked an advanced role for the ship. We were chatting a little about it before the session. Sounds like there was some interest in the instigator role for the ship. There was also definitely interest from several people in the voidfarer role for the ship. You know, kind of whatever you pick. We might be able to see in this session if we drive towards getting back on the ship and doing ship stuff, but we also might be kind of planting a flag for the epilogue of kind of where we think the ship and crew are going. So Danielle, if you want to think that over and let us know if you if either of those particularly appeals to you, or want to propose a different crew role or ship role, I'm putting that out there for consideration.
Real quick, did the thing about Rose, she's been sent back, there was some revelation about her.
So it's timey-wimey, but
okay.
What the audience may be gathered from what Dr. Foster says is that Dr. Foster sent RS1, the prior iteration of Rose, into the time stream, and then the RS2 came out, and Dr. Foster believes that RS2 is the later version that she will create in the future, and she's kind of gotten a head start by bringing Rose back to the present that way. And Hoyt's story about seeing the statue that seemed to be of Rose, right? It has kind of confirmed this for Dr. Foster, right? Did RS1 become the statue? Is this some kind of time imprint? A little bit unclear, but this is kind of why the story of Rose being the last hope now rings true for Dr. Foster. Brandon, does that about match what you took from that interaction?
Yep, it's cool.
Okay.
we're past Star Wars and into Doctor Who here, but that is fine.
Yeah, I was just asking because I think Instigator is what the ship has done, definitely, but Voidfarer feels like that's maybe is a direction we're going in. That could be really cool to connect with what Rose's journey is, especially too. So I think I would probably lean in that direction, but whatever, both of them are good.
Are people all right if we make that official and put in Voidfarer as the new move for the ship? All right, I've copied it over from the advancement sheet onto the ship move sheet so that we have that there ready to go.
And real quick, it had said on the if you get a 10+ on turn on the charm, it said mark XP, but if
PCs who let you sway them mark XP.
Okay,
that's if you're targeting a fellow player character. Yeah. But speaking of player characters marking XP, I did want to check. Hoyt came to your aid, Rose, in a moment of crisis. I wonder if Hoyt gets a trust token from Rose.
He sure does.
All right, that puts Hoyt very, very close to advancing. Just needs one more token of any sort from Captain Eris. So we'll perhaps see that advancement in this session. Let's go to Kadence. Kadence, you spilled wine on Dr. Foster. Then this voice rang in your head, and I'm going to assume you tried to find where it was coming from.
I mean, I think that that I would just, kind of step back for a moment, close my eyes, and see if it says anything else, I guess, is mainly what I'd be doing right now.
Got it. So you're tuning in. Yeah. So the voice comes again. There's an unmistakable enmity to it, right? He says, "You never learned this technique from Staccata, but I tuned my Heisenberg trance to yours so that if you survived, I would too. It was risky, but I couldn't allow you to be the last Armageddonist. Not on my watch."
Okay. So then, as I've got my eyes closed, and I'm hearing this voice, and I'm kind of now trying to turn my head a little bit, and my eyes snap open, and now I'm doing that thing where everybody else is. I'm looking for that, everybody else is doing something else, but who's the one person who's just ignoring everything else, looking at me, right? I'm gonna scan my surroundings and see if I can figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Make a roll plus savvy.
And I think I don't have a savvy condition marked right now. I don't think so. Yeah, so
you're not adult.
That's at +2.
Yeah, normal 2d6 plus 2. That's great.
All right, so this is gonna be what's this called? Scan. Yeah, all right. Oh, that's terrible. All right. Well,
even with the +2.
I rolled a 3, so
and
yeah.
I didn't.
So even with the +2.
I didn't write this, but I'll give you your answer anyway. In some ways, you're asking where's the greatest danger, as you're asking where's this person who's mentally reaching out to me.
Well, I mean, if I find out because, I can find out because I spot them, or I can find out because they, cold cock me or something like that. So that's, the good news is you know who it is. The bad news is they've just psychically attacked you or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's got to be it, right? You're looking around, and then what you spot is that gentleman that was asking Rose to dance, right? In the nice old-fashioned military jacket. He catches and holds your eyes and raises his glass. And Kadence, you remember Marcato from your time with the Armageddonist Order, a man with heretical ideas, right, about seizing the void and using it to bring order to the solar system, why does he believe you are a traitor to the cause of the Armageddonist Order?
Oh, why does he believe? I mean, why am I a traitor to the Order? Because I wasn't there when they got destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever plan somebody put together to gather them all in one place, I wasn't there. And so the only possible conclusion, of course, is that I knew. and was somehow in on it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. He's.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So once more, in your head, he says, "I know you missed the fun when the order fell, but don't worry, I saved you a taste of it." And suddenly, there's this psychic onslaught, right? The screams of of your comrades falling, right? Of the trap that was sprung on the Armageddonist order. Ooh. I think you have to touch the void just to weather it, right?
Like I need to escape to the void because that's the only place I can go where I won't be destroyed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. My mind just naturally, my my psyche flees to the just almost instinctively steps to the void. So do you want me to roll that or
please roll touch the void to see if you can avoid the worst of this psychic attack. And I believe you are numb at the moment, so you have disadvantage.
I am numb because I'm exhausted by kind of my void, my whatever, being attuned to the void when I trap those other cultists. So I'm rolling at +2, but it's with disadvantage, right? Is what's going on?
Yeah, okay. 3d6, take the worst 2, but you do get your strange to you get to apply your strange to it.
Void. Okay, so that's the 3 and the 1. 4 + 2 gets me to 6.
Oh. Okay. Well,
am I coming back into the thing? Who's narratively nearby? How can I help? I would actually.
Yeah, you're hoping to help Kadence.
Do I notice too? Because
these are both good questions. I feel like Rose and Hoyt, you're still pretty strongly engaged with the doctor, right? Based on the time that all this must be playing out in.
Sure.
So I'm open to Eris. You've claimed this ring. You're trying to figure out what to do with your semi-fiance, right? As you step through the dance floor and you see Kadence standing stock still. How can
not stock still. I think part of this is that Eris is the only one that notices it because everybody else is doing that thing where they just look right past me or whatever, right? And, I am flickering like a zeotrope, right? It's I'm on one of those a kind of like an old timey movie where I'm just kind of like flicking in and out, and and my movement is kind of herky jerky, and I'm trying to reach that box at my belt, and I keep I can't hit it, I keep missing it, and my movements aren't allowing me to do it.
Okay, and that was a 6 all told on Touch the Void, yeah.
Yeah, so a plus. Okay. So somebody spending edge with a +1, that'd be real helpful.
I think I would love to. Yeah, I think that as I'm kind of coming back in, I just kind of hold my hand to the side and be like, "This is just the first step, dear." And then I wink at him and kind of try and disappear into the crowd. So I'm like, this is the beginning of something that I have to make up. And and especially as I see that, and I would love to be moving through. Are you on the dance floor or are you off the dance floor?
We established I'm kind of off to the side. Actually, I'm kind of not on the main dance floor. I
you intercepted the doctor at the edge of the dance floor, yeah.
And then probably stepped back when I heard that voice. So I'm not on the dance floor proper. No.
But you can, if you want to weave through dancers to get to her, that's
Yeah.
legit, right? Like, because she's at the
Yeah. I think that Eris is going to like kind of do weave through dancers, look like that she's kind of dancing, and then kind of make whatever eye contact she can, and kind of like move and kind of like try and nudge her or nudge the box, like nudge her hand toward the box, like behind her discreetly.
Yeah. Does that work for you as a assist from Eris, Kadence?
Yeah, I think that's totally cool. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
if she just like taps the back of my hand so that I can actually kind of slap that button on the box.
Spend that edge.
And the flickering probably gets a little bit more under control, but I think with a 7 and 9, I need to keep it together to avoid going too far, right?
Yeah. So so you're going to channel the void, right? So the void, you're going to basically be able to like resist this attack using the void. The question is, what does going too far look like? Like, what are you worried about happening if you can't keep it together?
Oh, I am. Here's what I'm worried about. I am like absorbing this attack from him and dissipating it into the void. But if I like channel too much of it, it will overflow and go into the other patrons, right? The other people. Like I'm trying to I'm trying to like deflect it, but deflect it in a way that doesn't hurt anybody. But if I really, no kidding, just like throw up a, like a psychic block and it's just bouncing off of me, that could be like a problem for everybody.
Okay.
And probably particularly for the, for the people that are standing like right next to me. So
go ahead and roll to keep it together. Fortunately, you have some edge. So,
I do have some edge. I've got my full edge, so I'm rolling at +3.
All right, 2d6 plus 3. Yeah,
right.
What could go wrong?
This is there's my 10 that I needed.
Beautifully done. On a hit, you great buy. On a 10+, you gain a lucky break or momentary opportunity. So I think you dissipate this attack in the void, and it catches him off guard, right?
Yeah.
Like he thought he had you dead to rights. He thought he'd sprung the perfect trap, and so Marcato, is like probably now hanging agape a little bit, and like also like psychically, not on his guard because he thought he had you right where he wanted you. And we got Eris and Kadence. Let's check in with Rose and Hoyt. You were working on the scientist. You got Dr. Foster's buy-in that you indeed are the last hope. She's like pulled out a pen and is like scribbling notes on the cuff of this jacket she took from Ulysses, right? Being like, so if RS1 entered the time stream at right, like just like incredibly complex calculations in shorthand, as she's like taking in the information you've given her and plotting, what needs to be done next. At the same time, Hoyt, you see that the well-dressed glitterati of the gala are now closing in, right? People are whispering to each other behind fans. Some people are like openly staring at Rose's metallic facial markings, and a like circle has like kind of inexorably formed around your little cluster, right? And the rich people are gawking. This you have made yourselves the center of attention. Hoyt, what do you do? Just checking in with you here.
I mean, I want us to just get the hell out of here, but I don't know that we have the gem yet. Yeah, and part of me is like almost like, well, I mean, we're not the mission. The mission is with the captain in the gem. So if we're a distraction, that's not the worst thing for now.
Yeah. There are some moves for gathering information if that's what you want to do, right? Like either scan your surroundings or for you've got your wide-eyed wonder option.
I do. What is this? I'm gonna look at the scan your surroundings. I mean, they're both not great options for Hoyt at the moment because he's got the condition chilly marked. So, which one has better questions for this? Yeah, no, it's the scan your surroundings, I think, is what he's doing right now.
All right. Yeah, please go ahead. Roll plus savvy as you take the time to scan your surroundings. Looking around. What's developed. What are the changes?
Yeah, he's wide-eyed, but it's not wonder.
Perhaps he's growing up.
That is a 2.
Well, there's technically still something that could help if someone you had mutual trust with were to spend an edge. On the other hand, we can let the miss ride and see what happens. Yeah.
I think there was a request for a disaster earlier.
Yeah.
So Hoyt may have provided that.
So I think like kind of like
true. There is
striding out of the group of the gaggle of the aristocracy is a man who's clearly considers himself the cream of the crop, right? And he's got the Dranomir crest on his suit jacket. He's got something in his eyes that reminds you of your captain. This is clearly her father, Triton Dranomir, and he looks he just is like coming right through this circle and then like looking down at you, Hoyt, and saying, well, if it isn't the mystery man of the hour, come with me. I must have words with the young man who appeared on my prodigal daughter's arm. And just brooking no defiance, he is dragging you away.
It's okay. Just stand up straight and talk about cryptocurrency. He'll be fine.
So, Rose, you notice Hoyt suddenly being pulled away. Oh, you're muted, Brandon.
I shoot a look at Eris.
I think probably see this happen, or can I hear what's going on?
You can hear your father's voice in the middle of a crowd.
It carries, I bet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I see that something's wrong with Kadence too.
So you're just, Rose, you're kind of just getting abreast of the situation. Sure. Eris, do you give any signal to Rose if she looks over at you?
Yeah, I think you see the color drain even more from her face on hearing her dad. You see the color, and then I think I gesticulate to Rose, like, something like, interfere, like once he's got, one of my father's specialties is breaking people in half and extracting whatever information he wants out of them, and it's like not something that I want Hoyt to have to go through right now.
That's
so,
all
like,
contained in the signal, or
well, it's
Eris's
just
thought process.
it's
do I see panic?
Yeah, I look a little panicked. I just kind of make a signal, kind of like just get in between there, like stop, make sure he doesn't leave wherever he's dragging Hoyt off to, interrupt this somehow is the kind of the...
Yeah, so his first thought is to physically interfere. Yes.
So I just want to, can I use that mechanically then to use my captain move to spend edge to coach Rose into whatever she's going to do?
Possibly. It's the captain move specifically is for when they need to keep it together. So it depends a little on what Rose is doing next. But if it's something that is plausibly a keep it together role, we've well set you up for that mechanic.
So Rose's first thought is to intervene, and she takes a slightly too quick step in that direction, realizes that it would be impossible to do that without causing more damage than she fixes. And she hits the reset button.
Okay. So this.
I don't know how far back this goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she's like,
the rewind.
Suddenly, things were okay for a moment, and now nothing is okay. And so, yeah, I don't know whether that takes in Cadence's thing or not. You can decide. But if it's just this most recent disaster, then that'd be fine.
Cool. I think probably this most recent disaster to avoid additional timey-wimey stuff interacting with the thing Cadence was doing. So let me like sell it as a disaster a tiny bit more before you hit the reset button.
She takes 2 steps forward and then probably something happens to make it even worse.
I think like Triton's got an arm, fastening Hoyt to his side, and then like nods at a Tetrarchy security guard who like pulls a hypodermic needle, out of his belt. Who knows what's in it, but we've just established there's some plans here. They're gonna jab Hoyt with something, unless this rewind goes well.
Yes. So Rose actually tries to intercept the hypodermic needle and fails. And then
all right,
she gets very still for a moment, and something strange happens.
Turns out this was
I don't know what
simulation.
I don't know what strange things happens, or maybe just a redo. But
Gonna rewind the tape. Turns out this was Rose calculating the angles. Roll plus strange. Let's see how this once per session move you've got works out.
11. It's about time the dice gave me something. God, they've been hard.
All right. So
all crewmates. So rewind to before the disaster. All crewmates take advantage to averting it.
Beautiful. Let's say it's that we're back to Hoyt. We're scanning the area, and we like just hear Triton Dranomir starting to say like, "Let me through. I need to speak to this boy." Right. And so you get back to there. Things are going to go disastrously if Triton gets to drag Hoyt off. Everyone has advantage to fixing this. Do you Rose, tell Hoyt about the disaster you just averted? Like how is it that he?
No, I just tow him right onto the dance floor.
Nice. So
Yes.
And I'm much stronger than he is. So, but in a very natural way, as if he were sweeping me somehow.
Yes, love it.
I say, "Oh my goodness." I forget what his assumed name is.
I don't think we've established one.
Oh my goodness, Your Grace, you're so forceful.
Hoyt, how do you react to all this?
I am.
Rose gives you a dazzling smile and very, very quietly says, "Just dance. There's huge trouble that we can avoid by doing it."
Hoyt, I would love for you to keep it together, to act natural as you are pulled into a dance that probably you've never learned the steps of, but you do get advantage thanks to Rose's insight on this.
Okay.
If we need you to help, I have an idea of how to coach you from the sidelines. If you
Oh,
want.
that's also very cute.
Yeah, I think that as you are being swept off, Hoyt, you're like, you can see me on the side, and like what Eris is doing is she is like mimicking the steps of the dance, like the solo version, like right behind you, so it's in your eye line. But you kind of can pick up, like, am I supposed to turn? Am I supposed to hop? Like, yes, you hop here. It's not intuitive.
Because then that's instead of me rolling, right?
No, that's just
or
yeah, if the captain, if you're spending an edge, you get to give Hoyt an automatic 10 on that.
Oh my goodness.
Or a avoid disaster without a roll.
Yes.
Hoyt, somehow, like, tell me what it is. Like, how is it that you're able to like get into step here between Rose and Eris? You're gonna pick this dance up and wow the onlookers.
Yeah. I mean, I think if this was a TV show, they'd be showing Hoyt dancing with Eris and then dancing with Rose, and it would just be kind of cutting back between the two.
Nice.
Him looking at Eris and dancing with Rose, or him dancing with Eris, yeah. And it's
That's
like,
beautiful.
Is this just how he's like looking at her and picturing it in his head? Is this two alternate realities where in one timeline, him and Eris danced at this event? It's a weird show. Who knows?
I love it. I'm so here for it.
Rose gives Hoyt a dazzling smile.
Beautiful. And if anyone feels like they want to hand out trust or tension after that, I am totally amenable to that.
Oh yeah. Then I would definitely hand trust to Hoyt because I think from her perspective, like, Hoyt is like so green, but it's like his shoulders straighten up, and as he's dancing, like, she knows what it looks like when people are putting it on and going through the motions, but it seems like he's got this genuine kind of confidence about the way he's moving, so that even if he misses a step or two, like, it's totally believable. It's like, oh yeah, he belongs here. So he's just really taken it and gone with it.
I almost think this is tension with Eris. Because he has hated his time at this event that you've dragged him to.
Do it.
Yeah. And just
perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, since you're reminding me, I will definitely give Eris a trust for having pulled me out of that difficult situation that I was in.
Pulled you back from the brink. I believe that means Eris and Hoyt, you have filled up your XP tracks.
Ooh, yes. So what is that?
So you're going to be able to pick advanced crew roles, possibly take a peek at what some of the options are, and maybe Maybe after the next break, I'll ask you to say what you've picked. Does that sound good? As a cool as a milestone there, and you keep trust and tension as they are, but clear the XP tracks when you take your advanced roll, because you're spending that XP getting your advanced crew roll, and then we can hear about what those are. Kadence, you with Eris's help, you weathered the psychic attack and indeed have an opportunity, right? Your foe, you see where he is, right? Semi blending into the dance, but like you can tell, right? He's wearing the fashion of yesteryear, right? Like you, he's a relic of the old days, and his defenses are down. What do you do?
So what's the story with exactly when the reset happened? So the reset,
the little like the little reboot from Rose.
Time stutter step. Yeah.
I'm inclined to say it was a short enough period that it doesn't affect what's going on between you and Marcato, unless you've got a pitch for a version.
Oh yeah. We fight for 5 minutes, and then Rose resets it. And we are the only people in the room that understand that it got reset.
Oh my goodness.
Like that's that incredible. It wasn't, Rose thinks that she was just running a simulation and then but we understand, no kidding, she snipped off that temporal possibility, reeled it back, and now we're going down a different direction. So we actually had the experience of boom, and suddenly we're back there, and and I think both of us look at each other like, and I mean, I might even like for the first time, a little, just corner of my mouth goes up a little bit, and I say, you're not the only heretic here today. To him, I walk across the dance floors, kind of sliding in between people and stuff like this. And I think that this is, let me see here. I think I know what I want to do, but yeah, I mean, I just am gonna step right up to him, and seeing those my fans come out, right? The probability veins, as I do, and the two of us start fighting. But to anybody watching us, it looks like we're just dancing.
Oh man, fight dance. Right? Amazing.
Because the whole thing about this is it's like that like that midnighter thing, right? Where each of us has
all the possibilities,
and so it's trying to come up with something that the other person hasn't thought of or whatever, and like each of us is countering the other and stuff. But what I'm gonna say is that, where's this? I learned a useful trick back in the day from him.
Oh. Little bit of heresy.
Exactly. And that is that if you let yourself get tagged in a way that doesn't hurt, you can hit the other person back much harder. Because the regular way to fight is you dodge like until you can get a killing blow in, right? It's like this samurai thing where they just study each other until one of them can just cut the other one down with a single stroke, right? But in this, if you actually manage to let them just nick you, you can then come back in at them much harder.
That's amazing. Yeah. So there's, it's like, to any observer, it's just this like strange, like circling
just
dance.
sort of whirling around each other.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You know, me and my, whatever, my black leather, and him in his military uniform.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got what looks like ornamental dagger at his side, but
Sure.
in all of these possibilities, there's like the moment when he finally draws it. And
Exactly. Yes.
nobody
Yeah.
sees him doing
kind of
that because
swirling around
yeah.
with his hands like this.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing, okay, he cross draws and cuts my throat. He, like flips it underhanded into my heart, whatever, all this kind of stuff and everything. So let's see. So this is actually, I'm just attacking him. I'm coming at him.
Yeah, this is, I believe, the first time anyone has rolled the let fly an attack move, unless I'm mistaken.
Let fly an attack. I am shaken right now.
But you
so
learned
I would normally
trick.
have disadvantage, but because I know this trick, I get advantage on my disadvantage, which means I'm rolling flat. I think, right? Is how that
cancels out.
And I kind of love that the two of us fighting this kind of probabilistic style is a straight up roll of the dice to see how it works. So
zero modifier.
Exactly.
Also.
Yeah. Let's see what happens here. And I kind of love the idea that the zero modifier is that we are just perfectly evenly matched, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I'm just going to put attack. Zero out those mods. There's a 7.
Okay, nice. On a hit, exchange fire, taking appropriate harm, and you have to choose whether you take a real shellacking or wind up in a bad spot at the end of it. So you're going to hit him, right? Like this is a like you do your things to each other, but on a 7 to 9, you're picking the nature of the drawback, right? Like, are you getting the worst of it in the fight, or is it about like position?
I think I get the worst of it in the fight. In order to hit him back, I have to get hit pretty hard.
Nice.
I mean, I think probably what's going to happen is that we're going to hurt each other equally, I suspect, is what's going to go on, what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Both of you take the shellacking. So like it's this complicated probabilistic dual dance, and then at the end just two brutal strikes, right? And you go reeling back from each other.
Yeah. Simultaneously. Yeah. And yeah.
Take, if you will, one more condition, Kadence, from like I'm betting it's like the knife, slices into your shoulder, right? Like a like non-lethal but like painful place like that.
I'm taking addled. Because he catches me like here. Right. And so I've just got like it's just bleeding down into my eye, all down my cheek and stuff like this. I have to blink the blood out.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you injure him with the probability veins?
You know what? I box his ears.
Oof. Yeah.
Like shing, and like he slashes me as I am doing this, like slamming it on either side of his head. And he's got probably like, I'm half blind. He's got 2 broken eardrums, right? And so it's ugly. Like we're both of us just like bleeding onto the dance floor, I think.
Yeah. Like there are gasps. There are intakes of breath from people who
not so graceful suddenly.
Yeah, suddenly not so graceful. Suddenly people are like someone screams, right? Some of the bodyguards move over, all like looking at each other, figuring out if any of them are supposed to be guarding one of you. None of them are, right? And he stumbles, catches himself on an ornamental pillar. I don't have time for you, Kadence. There's another dance I was promised. And he goes, sprinting onto the dance floor towards Rose. Let's take our second break. Let's take 10 minutes, be back at 10 past the hour, and perhaps we'll even escape the gala. We'll see.
It's going so well. I don't know how I would do that.
Going so well. All right. See you all in 10.
Rose got to rewind and reset and have a cool dance sequence and everything.
Yes, I'm very happy that Jim took advantage of that.
Yes, in the fight, I love the like pop somebody's eardrums move. It's so horrible, but like so satisfying to see used.
Yeah, we haven't really had anybody really mixing it up yet. I mean, like we had the pirate fight and stuff like that, I guess, but we haven't had two space wizards fighting each other. So
no, well, and we haven't had a fight to hurt yet.
Yeah,
because my fancy move specifically doesn't. So
that's okay. It's great to have a big space wizard fight in the finale too. Like, it's not right if it doesn't come down with the choral
they're
music
all
going
waiting for the space wizard fight.
I'll just add that one of those flashes of all the alternate versions of that fight, for just a moment there, Kadence and Hoyt were dancing, and then kind of paused and just looked at each other confused, and then back to shots of the two disemboweling each other.
I love it. We got every alternate reality in there.
Just going hard into Marvel's What If for inspiration here.
I will start talking about how much I prefer Peggy Carter being the Lady Liberty and unregenerated Steve being such a good character.
Excellent. Let's check in about character advances, because two folks have notched advanced crew rolls. Anything you're hoping to pick out there? Like the regular crew rolls, these are kind of things where there's only one of each. So there can only be one, heart of the crew. There can only be one face of the crew, or right. So, Hoyt, did one of them jump out at you?
There are two that I'm trying to pick between.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Eris, you want to go first in case that would help me decide.
Which two are you looking at? So I don't.
Well, no, pick whatever you want.
Okay, I don't know. I'm kind of looking between heart of the crew and face, but it's interesting because narratively I feel like there are a couple people who might be more like heart depending on how you're defining that, but like a Rose could definitely be that. Hoyt I feel like is also kind of our like emotional heart, but Eris is very much always involving herself in everyone's business, and part of that I think is just being the captain, but it does help you like give people two edge instead of one, which is cool. Or I was looking at face because so much of what she's been doing is leaning into the warm side of her, so it would give her a boost on that level.
Totally, yeah. So there's a stat boost option. There's the fun additional help mechanic of the heart of the crew. Absolutely. Hoyt, does that clarify anything for you?
I think I would either take Heart of the Crew or Lucky Charm.
Nice.
Yeah. Also Mediator looked like an interesting option, but that means that I can solve people's relationship problems. I feel like Eris is just really great at creating them right now, so I'm not sure she's at solving them yet.
Well, let me emphasize, mediator does not say solve people's relationship problems. It says throw yourself into solving people's relationship problems, which is slightly different.
That's also an option. I really like either of those for you, Hoyt. I just really loved Lucky Charm, given like the touching the statues and his cool void stuff that he does. I feel like that really poises you to continue to entangle yourself in those things.
It also ties into that lucky shot thing you do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a streak of luck. Well, but it's your call, Hoyt. Which way do you want to go?
Well, I know that's why I was kind of hoping Eris would just take part of the crew, and then I wouldn't have to choose.
I can take it if you, but if you want it, honestly, I feel like there's just as good narrative positioning for you as well.
All right, I'm just going to take heart of the crew.
Okay, nice. So you're the cook, the medic, and the heart of the crew. That definitely tracks for me.
Yeah.
So Eris, given that, are you going with face, mediator?
I think I'm gonna go with face right now. Like I think she will definitely continue inserting herself into everyone's problems, but but I like mediator in that it's growth from being the immature coping mechanism that I currently have, but I think face narratively works with the place that she's in right now.
Makes sense. If we were in a longer campaign, you'd get to pick more of these. Booster Warm. This is really a crew that runs the gamut on Warm from -1 to +3. Let me check back in with Eris. Eris, I'll give you a bit of a picture of what's going on. You've been coaching Hoyt through the dance steps from the side of the dance floor and watching him somehow flawlessly pull this off. Him and Rose are the cutest couple out there, and others are watching them with jealousy. Meanwhile, you catch a glimpse, further out on this dance floor of Kadence stumbling, bloodied away from some kind of dance that has turned violent, and her apparent opponent is now striding with purpose towards Rose and Hoyt. That's a lot to take in. Your dad is also somewhere. You hear him kind of spluttering, right?
Yeah.
And as you had observed earlier, the Starbreaker cultists infiltrating the venue, you catch a glimpse of some of like there was that line of bodyguards there, right? That Kadence was part of at one point. Suddenly there isn't, right? Suddenly, hands reach out from the shadows and like pull the bodyguards, away, right? Like there's it's no one else is noticing it yet, but the gala is well and truly infiltrated and security is being stripped away. Just so all of that is on the table. Yeah. All right. What do you do?
Okay, I stride out over through the dance floor to this person, and Eris really respects Kadence. She knows that if Kadence is bloodied, this is really bad. She does not necessarily think it's a great thing to do right now, but this is the only thing that she knows to do. And she walks straight up to him and she's like, "Excuse me, I've been looking for a dance partner all night." And then she adds, like, I have to admit, I'm not used to being rejected. It really would not be a done thing to turn me down here.
So you're throwing your weight around?
I am. Okay, can I also refill my edge by demanding treatment?
Yes, absolutely. Demanding treatment according to your lineage, absolutely. But you're throwing your weight around by saying it's not the done thing to turn me down, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh boy, this is tremendous. That's a -1. Yeah, I have -1 tough.
And you are shaken.
Oh, and I am shaken. I fully forgot. Is that -3? Did I just do? I did not.
No, it'll be -1 and disadvantage.
Oh, -1 and disadvantage.
But
This is going to go well.
You've definitely refilled your edge here.
That will be comforting. Right. Okay, so it's a 4. What
4.
was
that? Yeah.
You know what? That makes sense.
Yeah. I think. I think he is not falling for this, right? He like shoulder checks you to get past you, and then there's a like yell from the sidelines of the dance. Hey, that's my fiance. You're come here and face me. You old so and so.
I demand satisfaction.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Garyon, reappearing to try and challenge Mercato, for the slight paid to you.
Great.
Eris, mark a condition. This seems appropriate.
Oh man, I hate to do this, but I think I'm a little bit addled from all of like this has really kind of thrown her a little bit off guard. The additional complication.
Yeah.
So I imagine I notice.
Well, I think having brushed right past, Mercato is suddenly near the two of you, Hoyt and Rose, and says, "Mind if I cut in?"
He is bleeding
from the ears,
and he just knocked Eris sprawling.
Knocked aside. I don't think Eris was.
I understand. I say I'd love to dance, and I'm going to make a sudden move on him.
I see. Tell me a little more about what that looks like.
This is I'm going to reach out in a dance posture that suddenly turns into a martial arts pin.
Nice. Is this making use of your synthetic sinews?
Yes, this is synthetic sinews.
Go ahead and make a roll plus tough. And yes, you have no conditions, so this is with your +1 tough. Nice.
I think that effortless describes that one. Yes, that's a boxcar move. Yes, so I just put up my arms to dance. I slip an arm around his shoulder. I turn my hips, and he is face down on the dance floor. Hard.
Yeah.
And I have him in a very delicate shoulder lock.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You don't dance as well as I'd hoped.
Beautiful. Amazing one-liner. Garyon, who was all set to fight this guy, is now like staring slack-jawed at what you've done to him. There is. Let's see. The advantage move is you capture or disarm an enemy. You've captured him essentially, right? Like you've got him where you want him here. On a 10+, you also hold the attention of other hostiles, giving a crewmate an opportunity or advantage. I think the key thing is here, this is now the like #1 spectacle in this place, right? And so anyone else who wants to do something any subtler than grabbing someone and flinging them face down on the dance floor has an advantage from the distraction that everyone else is experiencing. Hoyt, tell me what you're thinking.
Well, I mean, Kadence got like stabbed, and
She did.
I wonder if this is just enough time for Hoyt to see and go and
So like
offer some treatment quickly.
Rose seems to have this guy handled.
Rose nods at you.
Speed over to Kadence.
Says, "Go quick."
Like, yeah, Kadence still. I hate these kind of dances too. Don't worry.
Awesome.
And, yeah, I mean, whatever, here, swallow this, and Hoyt will probably take one too.
What is it, a painkiller?
I mean, there's something to help
basically help you power through
your wounds, and
okay. Kadence, you accept this,
and I'm spending an edge to just use my medic ability.
Oh, your doctor docked me up. Sweet.
Yeah.
So that cashes out to a 10+ on patch something up. So you get to clear a condition, Kadence, and you get to clear a condition, Hoyt, and you learn some kind of insight or secret. I think the key is, right, Kadence, you're able to give a capsule summary of what the nature of the threat is, such that Hoyt understands it. Does that sound right?
Oh yes. I say, he comes up, starts patching me up, and I say, and I point at the what is this dude's name? Marcato.
Yeah.
I point at him and I say, he's
You're gonna say he's like me or not, right? Like that's the question.
I'm gonna say he's also touched by the void, is what I say.
Mm.
And we need to stop him.
Yes, Eris was saying in the chat, she's straightening her hair using the hand that has this bright, shiny new ring on it. Absolutely, the crew can clock that the captain has got the goods. Hoyt, Kadence seems to be, able to keep it together, right? Like you have you provided what assistance you can in this on this gala floor.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to clear savvy instead of strange. I think that makes sense because he clears the if he's closed that cut over my eye.
Yeah,
then I can see again.
Yeah, it's less. It's about no longer
my
being
box.
adult.
My box is still a mess, but yeah.
Beautiful. Hoyt. Are you? What's next? Given that.
Maybe now I look around with my wide-eyed wonder. I think it's seeing Rose is pitting this guy. Kadence is revealing that he's some kind of another void touched person. Mm-hmm. Seeing the jewel all at the same time. Yeah, I think he's just taking all this in.
Roll plus warm. Let's see how that goes.
It's a 12.
3 questions from the list.
Okay. Well, I was just told what here is touched by the void.
If you ask it, I can tell you more.
Sure, I'll ask that since that's what I was just the most recent thing I was told.
Yeah, I think you're like whatever like little like visual distortion you can pick up when you like try to look at Cadence, try to look at Mercato, right? There's this like telltale shimmer of void that perhaps it's becoming clearer and clearer to Hoyt. Who knows? You also see that shimmer starting to appear all around the edges of the space, right? As like figures move quickly from shadow to shadow. There are more void touched forces closing in.
Great. What about the gem?
Yeah, 100%. Clearly, there's something voidy going on with it. Eris, it looks like a normal gem to you, very shiny.
I always like what here's surprisingly like home, but I don't know if that's what I want right now.
I've actually got one for that if you need it.
Sure.
You recognize an old trucker, someone like the last of these like bodyguards that were standing around, keeping an eye on things. It's someone who used to like run long haul freighters and like fuel up at your asteroid. He probably doesn't recognize you all dressed up, but like it's someone that you've helped in the past.
Okay. What here is worth a closer look?
Besides all the void touched things, you were there when Rose was talking to Dr. Foster. Dr. Foster has like become absorbed in the like calculations she's writing now on like all over the jacket that she took from Ulysses. So she's like turned away from the fight on the dance floor, but she seems absorbed in something, and it sure feels like getting these calculations would probably be important to Rose if Rose weren't distracted by avenging a slight to the captain. Sound good?
Yep.
So, Hoyt, what do you do?
Man. I think I'm running over to the captain and just telling her they're closing in on us. We got to get out of here.
Cadence, are you converging on the captain as well, getting the crew together?
I mean, yeah. Like, I mean, assuming that Hoyt and I are kind of moving together.
Yeah, you can be.
I want to like check out the dance floor. Like things are starting to go a little crazy here. So I want to take a moment to take an assessment of what's happening, where everybody is. There's other cultists we got to keep an eye out for and stuff like that. So I'm just going to take that moment to kind of like slow for a moment and kind of see what's going on. So
you want to roll to scan your surroundings, get an answer yourself.
Scan my surroundings, yeah. So
yeah.
I am
not addled anymore.
I am not addled anymore, so I'm going to be rolling at +2.
Nice.
There's 10. Sound of that. What's the
Two
best
questions,
way
and
out
they
of
give you
here?
advantage to work with them.
What's the best way out?
Yes. All the normal entrances and exits may be compromised by the Starbreakers. Straight up through the ceiling is the way they wouldn't expect. Shattering that ornate constellation inlaid roof.
What here could I use to get us up and out of here?
Nice. I think there's like a fancy space scooter type thing, right? Like like you'd kind of be cruising along.
I bet you you know what? I bet you they have like anti-grav like trays that like the food and drink are on.
Oh yeah. So it's not so much a scooter that's meant for passengers. It's a like anti-grav trolley,
like a catering trolley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
That if we jerry rig it, it can.
Yeah, if you overcharged it,
exactly.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
That's a great modification. Anti-grav catering trolley. That's what you could use to get out through the roof if need be.
Yeah, the sideboard is probably on a floating table.
Yeah, Cadence, you're there near the captain. If you want to relay any of the things you're starting to piece together.
Oh, I like I reach out and just like with a crash, just like wipe two tables, two platters full of hors d'oeuvres and half a dozen bottles of champagne off of one of these trolleys with a smash.
Yeah, the hors d'oeuvre sauce goes all over Ulysses, who happens to be standing right there.
And and I like I like put a foot up on it and I hold a hand out to Eris and I say, "We have to go now."
Eris, what do you do?
I will I definitely take Cadence's hand there.
The second she takes my hand, I just punch the control panel and run like I stole something.
Wow. Okay. With just you and Eris at the moment on the trolley.
Yeah, before we before we take off, as I'm about to, like, maybe it's right before I grab your hand, I think I turn to catch it's Garyon is still on the dance floor, and I gotta turn and I'll be like, "I'm so sorry. I think I lied. One of the things you actually have to give up is me," and I'm gonna blow him a kiss as I'm like the thing I should, and then grab
away.
as we are.
But
getting out of here.
But Eris, you've shown me a whole new world. You can't just right. So like he is ashen as you appear to be totally abandoning him here. Yeah, Cadence, you're running like you stole something. You've got the captain. The captain's got the gem. So you have indeed stolen something. Make me a roll plus savvy.
All right, so we're at +2 here.
Your escape route is up through the ceiling, and I believe you have advantage from your scan.
I do, yes. So I'm gonna add a third die here. 5 + 2 gets me to 7.
So you would have to choose. So on a hit, you get out of there, but you would choose on a 7-9 2 of the run like you stole something drawbacks.
I mean, we only need the equipment to get up there, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna burn all the way through.
We're
It's
gonna
gonna be
cook this thing. It is not like
it's gonna be falling apart under you as you
exactly
press
outside
through the roof.
its design parameters.
Yeah.
I think in all the fighting and confusion and stuff like this, I dropped one of my fans.
Oh. Wow. Okay. That is extremely identifying, and a potentially real trouble for Cadence's whole fighting style. But it does mean Kadence and Eris are ascending rapidly, right? Busting through the ceiling, making it out of there.
And I mean, I assume the ship can run on remote, right? We can have it meet us here. Or actually, let me ask: does the ship run on remote? Can I be even now saying, Pinion Wisp, come pick us up?
Looking at what time it is, I'm going to say yes. Let's do it. I think like as you're disappearing, right? Eris, there's like multiple people calling out to you, right? There's Garion saying like, "How could you do this to me?" There's your father saying like, "Eris Dranomir, you come down here this instant." And then perhaps there's your two remaining crewmates. Rose, you have captured the man who disrespected Eris, and then suddenly she's gone.
I would have loved to use can I use a no, that I guess my captain edge doesn't work, because I was like, I want to be able to communicate to everyone like we're headed to the ship, exit best way you can, great job everyone, sorry for this sudden exit, or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Not necessary.
You've got some kind of signal that says like mission accomplished, get out of there.
By any means, exactly.
Yeah. Rose, from below you, right? There's a groan. She'll betray you,
I know. But I have to let her. It's what happens. Dr. Foster.
Yeah. She's like, RS1.
2.
Oh, yes. You're
You'd
2.
better,
I'm sorry.
You'd better come with me. Hoyt?
Yeah.
We're getting out of here.
I hope so.
Rose, what's your plan? Do you have an escape route in mind?
They took the good one. So I'll have to make a new one.
I do know this trucker.
You do know this trucker. Maybe he knows the service entrance.
Maybe he has some wheels.
Worth a try. Let's go. And I'm taking Dr. Foster with us, because I don't like what's going down.
All right.
I can feel the probability waves pushing.
Yeah. So I think she's like semi-protesting, but you can just drag her with you if you want. And she's got this jacket that's now covered in mad scribbled calculations.
Yeah,
no,
I simply say to her, if you
Yeah.
want those calculations to matter, you have to come now.
Nice. Yeah, you convinced her you're the last hope of the solar system. I will let this ride on that. I do want you to run like you stole something. We'll say that we'll kind of abstract it a little bit, right? Say your escape route is following Hoyt to this trucker, getting some kind of an insight on like busting out of this place, as all around people start realizing that Voidbreaker cultists have been abducting partygoers, and like pandemonium and consternation starts breaking out. So let's see. What's your savvy?
+1. So I'm rolling with a +1.
I'll say you can take advantage from Hoyt on this, because Hoyt asks some questions that give you the key insights. So I'll say take that advantage. Let's see how this goes.
9.
Ooh. Unless someone wants to bump that up, that means you make it out of there, but you choose 2 things from the drawbacks of Run Like You Stole Something.
I could rotate a trust token because I'm the heart of the crew.
Yes.
To boost it up.
So that would, if we were playing physically, you'd be essentially tapping your trust token like it's a land in Magic the Gathering, but the word tap is copyrighted, so people who aren't Magic can't use it. Don't sue us, Wizards of the Coast, for abiding by the letter of the law here. But yeah, for just highlight the trust token a different color or something to show that you are tapping into that, because you have a trust from Rose. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. You can spend that trust instead of an edge to give her +2.
I mean, but he's not tapping into it.
No, he's not. He's definitely not. There is no tapping going on here. There is just being the heart of the crew. And I think we've set that up pretty well, right? That like
yes.
Rose is leading the way, but you're like pointing out this contact who, like, I mean, honestly, who might like see her and then like pull from his pocket one of those like tiny statues of the Hand of Hope that we established some of the truckers used to carry, right? Does that sound good to you, Hoyt? That kind of the key, part of how you're helping is just connecting Rose with the common people that revere her in some form because of this strange future thing. Nice.
Yep, great.
Okay, that pushes it up to that pushes up to a 10+ result, right? Because
yes.
So just one drawback from Run Like You Stole Something.
Okay. Marking a condition is the only thing that makes sense.
Go for it.
I don't have equipment, and I'm not sure I could be any more identifying. I don't have any. There's not a thing to leave behind.
The like key thing you could leave behind is Dr. Foster or her calculations, but I think you don't want to do that.
No. That's quite clearly what I did not want to leave behind.
What condition? I'm going to take adult because I have had too much to think about. It's all catching up. Well, because also I recognize that Marcato's invitation to dance wasn't, especially after his remark, and the knowledge that there's still a cult out there, and his confirmation that in fact I'm going to be betrayed and I might die, and that it might come to nothing. And notwithstanding that, because coming back from the future doesn't mean it's going to turn out the way you want it to. It might not. Yeah. All right.
Or whatever it is I've done, and also RS1.
Yeah. What's
RS1
up?
didn't just. I just thought RS1 was a failure. I thought RS1 had failed under testing. I didn't realize that they had actually succeeded.
Yeah, so I think
so I'll take adults to sum up that whole complete mindfuck.
The montage ends with Rose, like the dress a little bit torn, arriving with Hoyt and the new trucker friend like driving whatever space golf cart he has for making this fast getaway in time to leap aboard the Pinion Wisp, reuniting the crew. I think you took that ship advancement, so I want to see it go off possibly as the final move here. So like as you're like crowding onto the Pinion Wisp, you hear the like screams from inside the Gala space. The Starbreakers have made their move, and then suddenly whirring in the air around you, there are like a half dozen small Starbreaker crafts. Right, they're matte black. They've got like strange insectoid wings, and they are closing in. Captain, Eris, Dronomir, your crew is aboard your ship. The Star of Elysium is, fetchingly on your finger. The Starbreakers want it. What do you do? We'll say for the purpose of argument, you have somehow gathered that all of the strange void energy you've concentrated on this ship gives you an additional option.
Yeah. I think I look at Rose and I'm like, that thing where you clip through space before? You think we can
Yes.
upsize that? Then I think that I take it off of my hand and I slip it on Rose's and like gesture to the yoke or whatever it is that we have that's like the go button.
Yeah.
And Rose plugs her other hand into the console, into the the console's bio interface, and then focuses on the void gem.
Amazing. So we're looking here at Voidfarer. For when you drop out of our dimension into void space, roll plus the ship's strange. On a hit, you've got your bearings. It can navigate through the mind-bending null fields to any place you've been before. So we're just going full space fantasy for our final image here of the Pinion Wisp dropping into void space, and we'll see how it goes. Rose, sounds like the captain's asked you to take the wheel on this. Will you make a roll plus the ship's strange, which now has a +1 because the ship had a 1 strange before because of the thing you picked. So it gets 2 strange now because Voidfarer gives it the boost, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay.
I think Eris just winks at everybody else and is like, time for adventure, right?
One way or the other, says Rose.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll plus
10.
Yes.
Okay. Landed it the first time.
It happens. All right.
Oh, by the way, I say, where did you want to go?
And maybe we like fade out on that, right? With the crew having made their getaway, having stolen the star, dropping into void space, and then getting to decide where they go next, right? As like the mind-bending, all colors and no colors of the void swirl around them. The world is all before them. Let's take a moment for epilogues. These can be set in the immediate future or further future, just a sense of kind of if this show went on for another season, what else we might see the characters getting up to as like a sizzle reel, right? Folks feel good about that. Feel good about turning to epilogues here. Kadence. What might we see of an epilogue for Kadence?
Oh, absolutely. The epilogue for Kadence is we see Cadence's back, and clearly her arms are crossed. Kind of from behind we can see her arms are crossed. She sighs exasperatedly and she says, no, that's not it. You're trying. You have to stop trying. And she steps forward, and as she does, and like kind of, it's that thing where it's like her head, and then as she kind of steps forward away from the camera, we can see Hoyt is there, like dressed in like a simple black leotard, right? Like she wears. And like, Brian, up to you whether he looks like confused or exasperated or like a little bit of both, but he's got some kind of like oh my god, like, what like kitchen implement do you use? Like am I training you to use like in my fighting style?
It's like a fish turner, right? But
no,
but
I'm asking Brian. I'm gonna let Brian decide what that is.
Please.
Oh God. I'm just trying to picture different. Yeah. What?
Like a cleaver, like a whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's.
Or is it like a wrench, like a spanner or something like that?
Something from the kitchen or something from just
but whatever.
It's something from the kitchen. I mean, I think it's it's like a really flat, wide blade.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Something that looks like a kind of like a cleaver or something like that. And I have to say, and I say, this will only work if you stop trying to make it work. Whatever, like, he sighs, and we cut away from that.
Beautiful. Hoyt, you have the next epilogue. What else do we see?
Oh gosh. I mean, it's probably something. It's probably some romantic scene with Rose that he then wakes up from, and then like then has to run off to whatever emergency suddenly woke him up.
I love that he's like we see this thing of him like dressed perfectly, and he's dancing divinely, and that's awesome.
Well, they had a moment,
and then the music gets intruded on by this like beep beep beep. Yeah, and then it's just the alarm waking him up.
Or it's like the opposite of the dancing. It's something really domestic and sweet. Like, it's very not like Space Galas. It's like
he's cooking her dinner. Sure.
Yes.
He's the cook.
Yeah, he's cooking her dinner, or like, and then you're working on some project, some gadgety project. Like Rose is working on some gadgety project as you're bringing the food by or something.
Oh, I think no, he's cooking dinner, and he's saying, I'm so glad you had time. I made your favorite. And then your camera turns back, and you see that Rose is sitting at the table. They're kind of, biting one lip, smiling up at him as he's, bringing the pan over to the table to serve.
And then he jolts awake.
And then,
But was it a possible future? We don't know. Eris, what would we see for an epilogue?
Oh boy. I think we definitely see the somewhat battered but triumphant crew pop out of Void's space. if not, and if this is stepping on where you want to go with Rose's epilogue, feel free to change it, Brandon. But I think that like it's awkwardly close to where the Pirate Queen is. Like it's instead of in where the ships go, it's like on the front lawn or something like that. Like it's kind of in the wrong spot. But I think that we see like us finally getting paid and like the look, just like
if you do it in an epilogue, you can't roll a miss on it.
Lexi can't mess with it. Yes.
Yeah. But I think Eris clearly works the deal, like looking at Kadence and looking at the Pirate Queen, like as long as like we can come back and take a look at that thing if we need some research. You know, like she is because it's very voidy. And I think that we see Eris piloting a craft like around areas of void activity. I think that you see that she's turned this kind of business, and she's like communicating with Rose, like, is it up ahead? And like looking back and like at Kadence, like, what about back? You know, like we've kind of got some sort of weird void trawling situation where we acquire void objects and either sell them or something. And I think you see an insistent hailing button on the front, and she hits it and she's like, yes, Father, I understand. I know what the society papers said, but like I said last time, you can't just address me as your daughter. You also have to address me as a fellow businesswoman. And is saying that. And
nice. Nice. I like it.
Yeah. And I think that she's probably thinking about one or two things, is just like I feel like she's very open-ended relationship wise, but that's something really cool that I like. There's a lot of cool potentials. Yeah, that would definitely be a second or third season thing.
You've got that heartbroken ex-fiance out there now.
Yeah.
So sad.
Fantastic. Rose, what do we see in your epilogue?
There's two little scenes, and I think that so the first one is with Eris, and they're they're in some stateroom or something like that, and Rose has been kind of staring at the wall and then looks up at Eris, and she goes, no, you don't understand. I'm yours. Not in a figurative sense. I've been yours since you came and got me out of the lab. And what you decide to do with me is up to you. But nothing's going to change that. And then the other one is
so many people
I'm going to
throwing
cut
themselves
it
at Eris. Yeah.
I'm going to cut it there. Except that Rose isn't. She doesn't imagine she has a romantic relationship with Eris. She, this is the person who gave her agency.
Right.
She literally thinks that she belongs to Eris. The other one is, I think, where Hoyt is sitting. Actually, would this be with Hoyt or with Kadence? I'll have it be with Hoyt just to add mystery.
All right.
But we get weird with timelines, so it could be both and neither at the same time.
Jim, do you mind if the betrayal happens on camera?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Well, Rose says to Cadence, I don't care. I'm going to tell the captain. And she turns, and there is a knife blade is sticking out of her breastbone from the,
No.
you know, having plunged all the way through her. And Rose hangs there for a moment and goes, just because something you know something's going to happen doesn't mean you know when. And then she slumps.
Oh no! Wow, that's very dramatic. Gonna throw one more epilogue in here. I think we see at the razor-studded temple of the Starbreaker Cult. A crew of cultists, stand, like bowing in shame, before the extremely spiky throne, where the Archon sits, and the cultists say, "We failed to recover the star, but we did find this." And one of them tosses Marcato down in front of the Archon, and the Archon's like, "The last of the Armageddonists. This could prove useful." And we pull way back from that. And yeah, this has been Plutonian Shards. Thank you all for playing. Anyone who's been tuning in and watching along, thank you for joining us. There's links down below this video if you're interested in learning more about Plutonian Shards. And otherwise, have a good one, and see you out there. Stay safe.